Hello, welcome back. So we are getting on with the transporter again. Just got a couple of bits to finish off quickly. I've just done this Fiat 500, just done a little corner there for a local trader, keep it clean, tidy. I need to get that finished. We've got a van sat here in primer. So basically I need that van in the booth, or kind of in the booth. I need the Fiat 500 out. We can push the escort out of the way and get on with the transporter again. I've got about another 5 or 6 hours today, so I can do a bit more on it. We've got, assuming you've watched the last video, you'll know we had a bit of a problem with parts for one of my projects, which has put the transporter a tad behind schedule, which is very frustrating for me. I don't normally work like that, and it's very annoying. That'll teach me for thinking I've got a day or two. Let's attack the escort quickly, and then that was a 5-week wait for parts, unfortunately. So basically what we're going to do is get, I need to get all this stuff swapped around, move around, all that sort of jazz, which I'll not bore you with. And then we've got some stuff underneath the transporter to do, little patch the other side. We need to take a wheel off and deal with inside the wheel arch, inside here. And then we've got this piece to welded as well, and a little piece on the end there that should have a return all the way down. So yeah, so that's our goal, to try and get that done today, and then we can seal that up. So this is a Saturday for me. I'm trying to not work the Saturdays. I'm trying to knock them on the head after about 15 years of working them, but I need to get on. I'm behind. So yeah, we're going to try and get underneath of this done. So then that's the underneath bit done, that's this arch done, and then on the next video we can start with this side and this back piece. I will try and follow as much as I can on camera. It shouldn't be a problem. It's just sometimes I need to just get on, and that, and the camera does take up a bit more of my time, and then I've got to put it all together as well, if you like. So, and as you can see, we've got stuff everywhere at the moment. So welders are out. We are trying to plough through stuff at the moment, so it's we're getting there though. We're getting there. We've got some time to make up, and a couple of early mornings, late nights and stuff. We'll soon get them organised, so finally sorted out. So what I've done is I've got a welding shirt, if you like. It's currently about 30 degrees, if you can't tell by the colour of me, but I need to get this done. I don't want to do it because it's absolutely scorching, but it needs to be done. So for first things first, anyway, we're going to try, hopefully you can see properly, to fiddle around with that camera. You kind of see what we're doing there, I think. Can you see that all? Not that you can talk back to me, but so basically I'm going to try and clean this off, and then we're going to make a new piece for in here. Overly matter what we put in there. Let's just have a look, see what's left after we've cleaned it all up, really. Apparently my music choice was brutal. That's what I was told last time. So you have to use copyright free music, so you're a bit limited to what you can use. And I downloaded a load about 3 years ago, and I haven't updated that, so I'm going to have to try and update some of that music that I keep putting on the videos. See if we can find something that's a bit more suitable, if you like. Can't please everybody, obviously, but we'll see what we can find. Oh, right, I've cleaned that off, and this is I'll just take you off the mount. So this is an example of why, when you're doing kind of restoration work, it's very difficult to give a price. Excuse me. Most people are like, how much, which is fine. But when you get stuff like that, and you were expecting a small hole, so we've got to like cover this up, which is fairly straightforward anyway. It says throwing the lot on the floor. Back up there. So it's fairly straightforward. You know, we can cut this flush, we can make a piece to go in there, that's fine. But if you look behind it, now the only way really for me to get access in there is to cut that front panel off, which means cutting this panel off. Hopefully you can see that. And so I can bring that, chop that where it needs to be chopped, and then bring that back down and tie it back in again. Yeah. So on the upside, it looks like we've caught it just in time. Sorry, the light's terrible. Because it hasn't quite gone into the step properly yet. You can see it's just touched it, but not quite ruined it. So what we'll do is we'll leave that one there for a moment, because that's obviously a lot bigger than what I thought. And then we'll see what we find on the other side, because we've got the inside of the step to do, if you like. So I'm going to take that wheel off, and then we'll have a look in there as well. Right, compressor started now, and it is roasting. Right, to save you from some boredom of watching me clean, what I was hoping for was some metal left over. You can see inside there. Sorry, the camera's got dust all over it. So you can see I've just been cleaning up the edges. So because of the amount of cleaning up, I don't think I'm going to get any welding done today. Like I said, I only had about 4 or 5 hours, so I might be able to. Yeah, so basically I'm just going to carry on cleaning up, just so you know what I'm doing, and then we'll I don't want to put an overplate as such in, because we need to cut all that out, but because it's some parts is part of the step, some parts is part of the wheel arch, it is going to have to be made into a few pieces, and then we'll basically tidy up this area, and then we'll go back inside the car, the van, and dress out anything that's on the inside of the step. It's quite a bit really, nothing we can't sort out, just quite a bit. When you think there's like a hole, we was all aware there's a hole there. Yeah, gonna have to cut quite a bit of that. So and there might be some making up to do on the inside as well. That's something to bear in mind. So once we get the outside where we want it and it's clean and tidy, we can seal it up and everything. We've still got to go into the step area, into the floor area, and just make sure you know, it looks nice and tidy. I don't think there's any more to do in the inside other than cleaning out, dressing out, coating. So I think Well, so far anyway. I thought the other side was a little patch, but it's obviously not. So right, so I'll carry on cleaning up because I'm waffling, and right, I'll just show you roughly where we are anyway. So I've cleaned it all up. You see there's a massive hole there now. I've made a plate for here. That will go there somewhere. I'll have to have a bit of messing around with it, which leaves obviously a big hole that side, if you can see. Okay, we're back again. Sorry about that, battery dead. Alan's loving it. Yeah, I think he's the only one that actually likes the heat. Right, carry on again. Right, I think I've shown you that. So that's basically going to go there. It will make sense once we start welding, and then that piece is going to fit in there, if you like. So I'll have a piece across here, that piece there, and then we've just got one more piece to make in here. But once we get that tacked in and that tacked in, and we know where they need to be, then we know how big to make that panel, and then we can just tack one of them in. So yeah, great big hole. I don't think either of us were expecting it to be quite the size of that. Just put that back. Good drying rack as well, by the way, a folder. When you I like to clean the back of all the panels and zinc paint them, so you know you've got something on them before you weld them in. A lot of this is accessible from the inside, so it's not so bad. So we'll epoxy all of that anyway. But any bits that you can't get to, at least you know they're coated. So we'll get that set up. Might take a bit of messing around. I don't know if I can get the camera in there nicely for you. Right, hopefully you can see. I'm a bit stuck with the camera, if I'm honest. Right, let's move this out of the way. Put my mask down. I'll just show you so you can see. I don't know what the camera's picked up or hasn't picked up, so. Right. So you can see we just stitched that in for now. So that's given us our main piece back in, if you like. I'm not going to weld the bottom or tack the bottom until we get that side in, because then we can move or push or do whatever we need to do, manipulate that panel wherever we need to, just to make sure it's 100% in the right spot. So just double check, lift it back up. I've done this video a bit more raw footage, if you like. Some people like that, some people don't. But like I said, I think it was last time or the time before, I'll try and do you know, a video like this, if you like, and then a video a bit more edited, if you like. So you can see, so that's the hole. See, we're all cleaned up. He says, there we go. So then that'll be, this is what I mean about not welding the bottom up yet, look. You see there's a bit of a gap there. So what we can do is we can push that in and up. And when we get our hammer. It's hard to do with one hand. But I'm just going to spray this with zinc paint, just so it's covered. And then we'll, I'm going to pop some holes down the side of this. I'll show you how I do that. I can do that now quickly. Just basically that. I'm trying to do it with one hand, so you might get it, you might not. And it just pops a small hole in. So what we'll do is we'll put them holes all the way down, so we can weld to the. You've got 2 or 3 layers in there, so it's super strong. You see it's all cleaned up now. So I'll get them holes punched. We'll get some zinc paint on there first. We'll let that dry, and I'll come back to you. Right, welded a bit in, just so I can give you like a rough idea. It is only tacked in, so don't get excited. But you can see, if you're looking at the right bit, so you can see we're kind of back in there. And then we've just got that hole at the top there to do. So now I've got that kind of where I want it. When you're just tacking in stuff, it's good because you can sort of use the heat, while you've got the heat in that panel, to sort of manipulate it with the hammer a lot easier. So as I've worked my way up here, I've just sort of manipulated that round. Can't see, can you? Sort of manipulated that round. So once that's all welded in, it'll look like one piece, welded. And we'll show you anyway before we cover it all up with all the sealers and stone chips and everything. But yeah, so basically that's kind of roughly that. Just get that kind of tacked in, and then I can final weld it all, and then that's one piece done. Now, it didn't look much, but I bet that's, by the time you've added up, I haven't got all day today, so I'm going to have to sort of revisit that next week, and a couple of bits around here. That's like a full day and a bit, if you like, just sorting that little bit, most of which you'll never see. So it's, but it needs doing, because the MOT guy wouldn't appreciate that. So there's a great big hole there. And also people that wonder why they're everything's soaking wet inside the van or the car, that's normally why, or something's been blocked up or something like that. So yeah, I'll carry on making these. If you like these sort of videos, let me know in the comments, because like I said, it might be a bit longer, but it's a bit more raw footage if you like. Just let me know. Again, I'll do both anyway, but kind of explain more of the process on this one if you like. Just going to let that cool down a bit, and then we'll call that a day for me. So you see we just tacked that in as well. So we're all solid again now. So basically, I might have already said it, it's been 20 minutes or so. Basically, we need to weld that solidly, grind it all back, dress it all out. I'll show you it again, it'll look different again. And then that's that piece kind of fixed really. We'll get that sealed up this side. We've got a little bit up here to sort out. And then we've got this arch to carry on. So I will try and leave as much as I can in this video, because I know people have been asking me and all sorts of questions and stuff like that, which is difficult to answer sometimes without just showing you. So it's we are still organising ourselves a little bit. obviously if you've watched the other videos you'll know we've made some changes here. Just got a couple of jobs to get caught back up on, and then we should be hopefully back to the new normal anyway. And then hopefully I can sort this, because all my metalworking stuff has all been kind of pushed into a corner, and I have to keep like pulling bits out to use and then put it back in the corner until we get a bit more organised. We've got a job in the back room that's just being finished. We'll get this one finished, get set back up, and then we can crack on again. But in the meantime, we'll carry on with the progress on this. Hello, welcome back. We are still doing transporter. Just putting the welding shirt on there if we can. So basically, we've got still doing transporter. Video would have carried on. I haven't filmed anything else on any other vehicles. To be fair, I've just been trying to concentrate on this. So the rest of the stuff has taken a bit of a back seat, if you like. Right, absolutely roasting. So I've just, hope you can see that. It looks nothing on camera, it really doesn't. proper pain because you can't get in there. The only way nicely to get in there you'd have to pull all the suspension, the axle, everything out, and then we've got like a 2x3 inch plug. We've done what we can. It's all welded, it's all ground back. I like to dress it out a bit. So basically I've got another arch. As you can see, last time we cut that piece out and the actual arch lip. So what we need to do, basically what we need to do is kind of duplicate that. So I'm going to overcut this because I don't need all of this. I'm just going to sort of leave that bit in for now. I'm going to cut across this line. I'm going to cut up the arch line here, if you can see. Just so then we've just got the arch to play with. The rest of it will go in the bin. So basically that's basically what I've done. So that's going to fit like that within reason, and can then give us our edge back. Now the reason for leaving it long, for those that don't know, is I'm just going to cut through them both down here. Like I said, a bit difficult to show here. I might have to see if I can move you around, but I've just put a tack in the top. That's just going to hold that, and I can move that around. Hopefully that makes sense. You see what I mean? Not that you can answer me, but it's one of them things, you know what you mean in your head, but then trying to explain it to somebody else doesn't necessarily come across right. So basically I'm going to cut through these now, along the bottom there, clean up both edges, and then that one's about done. Well, after it's welded obviously, but I'll move this round, hopefully get a better view for you. Right, we'll just let that dry. I've just put some, can't you tell it's warm? Just put some weld through primer in there just to make sure it's all coated inside. We are wax oiling this anyway when we're finished. It's just, while we've got access, it's always nice to spray a bit in there. I can't wax oil now because I risk having contaminants in my paint and stuff like that, so we always wait till after. Offer that up so you can kind of see once we get that set in place, that'll then weld on. Now there is a lot of new people, so welcome, and don't forget to like and share and subscribe and all that wonderful stuff. The reason I do this, for the people that don't know, is I don't like loading stuff up full of loads of filler and stuff like that. It's not, we're not painting door shuts on this either. We might have a couple of touch-ups here and there or something like that, but we're not taking doors off or anything like that. It's same colour, do all the welding, any repairs that we've found, we'll do them, and then basically paint the outside only. Now if I fit that full arch, I'm into that door shut, I'm touching everything in that door shut, I'm having to paint the whole thing. It's not in the budget, it's not what we spoke about, so that's not what we're doing, and plus there's nothing wrong with the rest of it because it's absolutely solid. And for people that do know our work, I like to leave as many factory seams as possible because I believe they're a lot better. So if we can just get away with, we always cut more out than what's required anyway, but if we just need a sill end and an edge of an arch, that's basically what we're fitting. Now when it comes to the rear quarters, judging by how many views that video had and how many questions, emails, phone calls I've had about how I joined these rear quarters, you'll see them anyway, but we are making tubs for this one. So I'm just basically trying to finish the front and then work my way to the back. So once this is done, I can seal this up, I can get wings on front end, well, wings on anyway, offer up the front end, that front cross member if you like, the outer piece, the grill piece, double check it all lines up, take that back off, leave the wings on, because they're going to be sealed up then, so then that's a job completely finished. So everything underneath sealed, stone chipped, brush sealed. We've got the drip tubes to put in. I don't know if you've been following, I can't remember what I've said now, it's been a couple of weeks. We've got the drip tubes to come in, so we're not having any water sat in there anymore. It should just go down the pipe and out, providing the customer keeps on top of any leaves that might go in there. They're only a small hole, so you don't want to be blocking that pipe and having to take a wing back off or something. So, but we'll show you that anyway when we get round to that piece. So this will be dry in a minute. We'll start tacking this in. I'll show some of that so you can see me tacking it in. I'll just finish it and then I'll show you at the end. And then we've got a little bit of the front to repair, and then we can get all this side. I don't want to load up a spray gun and spray everything around here, so what I'm going to do is just mix some up, some epoxy without any thinners, in like a little pot if you like, and then what we'll do on all these areas that we've welded is we'll just brush some epoxy on there, so we know we've got a good coat over the bare metal anyway, so in theory then we shouldn't have any issues going forward, not with the bits that we've done anyway. We need to get some more sealer ordered. I use a particular type to bond these wings on. You can use PU, but PU tends to, which is polyurethane, it tends to shrink when it dries. So we use another stuff, I can't remember the name of it at the moment, but I will show you that. So basically it bonds, still allows for movement but it won't shrink. because the last thing you want to do is have it shrink down the road and it pull off, and then water and grit gets in there, or if it shrinks and then distorts the wing, that's then going to be a whinge for me. So try and cover ourselves where we can. Nobody guarantees rust if you like, but obviously the more we cut out, the better. The more we can get on top of all the rubbish and seal it all up nicely and properly again, and wax oil it afterwards, or cavity wax, yeah, the better it is, the longer it's going to last, isn't it? So right, anyway, I'm waffling again, so that should be dry now, so I'll crack on.